going on, guys? Black Scout Survival. Today we're going to be talking about the best commercial fire tenders. And you know, when you're looking at a commercial tender, something you're carrying with you for a survival situation, there's a few things it needs to meet, a few criteria it needs to meet. Now, whenever like I go camping or just making a fire, I use all natural materials. I never break out my tenders like this. You know, I'll test them occasionally, but I never use these because these are emergency tenders. I use, you know, fat wood or, you know, birch bark or cedar bark or, you know, tulip poplar bark or whatever I can find. Make a feather stick, strike it with a ferro rod, all those sort of things. You know, use natural materials, because why would I waste things that I paid money for? That's like a survival, you know, tool. So with that, you need something that's easily combustible, waterproof. You need it to be able to take a spark quickly, and it needs to be something that easily processed. Like processing tinder you find out in the wilderness, yeah, you can't over process that. However, a tinder that you buy should be something that you can process after you've lost dexterity, because you're in a hypothermic condition. You'll see a lot of guys, you know, that aren't really, doesn't have, you know, education, have not had training in survival. They'll, you know, make up ideas based on things they've either watched on YouTube or they played with behind their apartment complex. You know, the thing is actually knowing survival, being in situations, having experiences, being in very cold, extreme environments and trying to make fires is very difficult. I've been in places that's cold, that have, you know, rained for 3 or 4 days, extreme wet conditions where everything on the landscape is wet. You're not going to find any natural dry material or even kindling. And so you have to have waterproof tinder that will take a spark very easily and that can get the job done and keep you alive. Let's talk about a few tenders we have right here. Now, starting off, we got fat wood, which is free. You can find this anywhere, you know, southeast, very, very predominant. We have virtually free cotton balls and Vaseline. And, you know, I like to do the aluminum foil nuggets, which can enhance the, you know, waterproofness of it or water resistance, and also make it into like a candle. We have fast fire, which is the actual U.S. Special Forces tinder. This comes in their kit made by Sokoa, and they're provided to Green Berets. I know Green Berets, and I've spoken to a few of my buddies past few days, and this is what was issued in their kits. We have Dave Canterbury's Mini Inferno, which is an excellent, one of the best tenders on the market. They did a great job. It's one of my favorites. We have the Zip, which you can get at any store pretty much. I think like Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, and stuff like that. Has this Zip, which is like a grill fire starter. I know Bear Grylls is a fan of these. And then we have the military fire starting Tinder Quick tabs, which have been around for a very long time, and they work very well, take a spark very well. They're small, you know, so they don't have a long burn time, but they will pack into a mini survival kit, you know, whereas some of these other ones may not do that so well. But let's go ahead and get some water. I'm right here on my waterfront here, right on the river. And so, you know, we can just dunk some of these. We can put the fat wood in there. We'll put these in there. The Zip is obviously plastic, so coating, so it's going to be protected. We'll put that in there. This is protected, and this. So just let them sit for a few minutes and we'll come back. So we've had this sit in this for about 5 minutes. Now I've got my rappelling gloves. I'm going to place these on. These are thick leather. This will simulate a loss of dexterity, which will be, you know, something that happens if you're really cold when you actually need a fire and you can't use your fingernails to, you know, finally process your tinder for, you know, a couple minutes, and you need that fire really quick. This is going to mimic those conditions. Really thick. I mean, I don't have much dexterity in these. You're gonna need tenders that require gross motor skills over fine that you can process. Okay. So kind of sit these out. And matter of fact, I'm gonna leave the Tinder Quick tabs to sit in there the whole time we're doing this demo, okay? So a good size ferro rod, that's why they, say that. We'll go ahead and just and you got to understand this is the fat wood is a natural material. I think that should be enough right there. And that didn't even take that many strikes, and that's something that, grows out in nature. It didn't take, a bunch of strikes, okay? And that was sitting in the water. That end was sitting in the water. You see me place the burnt end in the water. All right, so next thing is the aluminum foil nuggets. I've lost dexterity. I'm using my knife, and then now I just use this to pull it out. Right? Open up some fibers in there, and let's go ahead and pop this. And it only took one strike, okay? And we got that bad boy burning. One strike after being submerged for 5 minutes, okay? I can put that out and reuse it. Take this bad boy, boom. My motor skills are gone. That took a few more strikes just because I was hitting in the wrong spot. Let me just try it again and actually do its due diligence this time. One strike. Very good win. All right, loss of dexterity, but I can still rip this apart. One strike. All right, now we got the zip. Again, loss of dexterity. I can't even freaking use my hands, I'm so cold. I just scrape a little bit of that off. All right. We're not gonna count that strike because I was all out the freaking way. Boom, one strike. These are amazing. I can understand why Bear Grylls likes it. All right guys, now we got the Tinder Quick Tab. Been sitting in the water for a long time and we need to process it. Now the only thing is that, I could use my teeth, and I'm just going to use my knife very carefully to kind of expose those fibers because I'm not using any fingernails in this, okay? So getting that fine stuff, I can't even really grip it, but we're just going to use our knife to kind of process this. And get that bad boy open. I don't want to get it all over the wet ground for certain. And one spark. And that's without using fingernails to process it. Been sitting in the water for probably 7 minutes now. All right guys, so let's kind of review. Using gloves, loss of dexterity, no fingernails used to process the tinder. These things are pretty thick. If you have any pencil repelling gloves, you know what I mean. And everything here sat in the water for 5 minutes. The Tinder Quick Tabs was about 7. Everything pretty much lit up on one strike, okay? You didn't have to over process this tinder, okay? You want to have to under process any kind of commercial tinder. You want it to be able to get a fire quick and not have to play games. And whenever I'm looking for something that my life is going to depend on, I want all the odds in my favor. Okay, some other people may not. They may want a challenge when they're already in a survival situation, but I want all the odds in my favor because I want to stay alive. I don't want to have to battle. I'm already battling the elements. But this is the difference between being trained in survival and being a survival enthusiast. You actually know, what can kill you and what you need to survive. And that's why I try to relay that kind of information here on Black Scout for free, so that way you know what tools and what kind of techniques you need to survive. And let me just give you one more pro tip before we sign off. Your commercial tender should not take 19 strikes with a big old ferro rod to get it started. Thanks for watching Black Scout Survival.
Got him! Got him!